Hey guys, alright, today what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go over animation. Your final project will be a walk cycle. Uh, and like for this video, I'm just gonna go over basics of animation with a bouncing ball. So, alright, so I'm gonna open up Maya. Okay. Alright, so now that I have Maya open, I am okay. Now that I have Maya open, I am going to create a project folder because I haven't done that for this. So I'm going to go to File, Project Window. I'm going to create a new one. New. I'm going to change the location to the desktop so I can see it. Select. And I'm going to change the name from New Project to Balancing Ball Tutorial. So this isn't going to be for your final project, but it's just a good way to segue into animation. So now I'm going to go to File and I'm going to set the project folder. So I'm going to double click on the project folder that I just created. I'm going to hit Set. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to, I'm going to create a ball by just clicking on the sphere icon for poly modeling. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm also going to go to Curves. And I'm going to select the circle curve. I'm going to scale that out. Okay, I'm also going to right click and freeze transformations on the curve. If I can find it, freeze all. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to select the curve, shift select the ball, and I'm going to go to animation and parent constraint. So I selected the curve, I hold down the shift key, select the ball, and then parent constraint. So now that I've done that, I'm going to click on the sphere and I'm going to go to, I'm going to highlight all these values in the channel box for the sphere. I'm going to right click and I'm going to lock selected. So that way I can move the circle but not really move the sphere. So I won't break the connection of the constraint. So that's the whole purpose of that. Alright, so now that I have that, I'm going to, it's really helpful if you have a video reference for this, but just for the example for this one, I'm going to create, I'll just do it by my own experience. So I'm going to go into the side camera. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. And I'm going to move. So what I want to do, I want to create a ball. If I use the grease pencil. I want to create a ball that, bounces, doing, and decreases in space. So I want also the loss of height to be in the shape of an arc as well. So that's a very important thing in animation is the use of arcs. So with a ball, it doesn't lose height in a straight line. It actually loses height in a type of arc. And depending on the type of ball, the arc might be shaped like this, or the arc might be more horizontal, such as this one. So that's just a little food for thought. So what I want to do, what I'm first going to do, I'm going to create keyframes. I'm going to work in layers. So first I'm going to work on the loss of height, and then I'll work on the speed travel, the horizontal forward movement of the ball. So I'm going to, did I not? No, it's okay. Okay, because I did move it. Okay, that's fine. All right, sorry, I lost. All right, so I'm gonna start the ball at the topmost height. So I'm gonna press S to set a key, and then around frame 12, I'm gonna, where it says translate Y, I'm gonna make that 0 and hit enter. I'm gonna press S. And so in my first keyframe, I'm at 5, and now I'm at 0. So next one, I'm gonna take less frames. So I have 12 frames in the first one. The next one, I'll do maybe 9 frames. So 12 plus 9 is 19, right? No. 12 plus 9 is 21, because I can do math. All right. So I'll go around maybe 3. Yeah, we'll do it like that. And press S to set the key. So notice, okay, and now, okay, it was 9 frames. It's going to take less frames to get to the ground because of gravity. So I'm going to go to, so 21 plus 8, we'll do 29. Well, maybe we'll do 28 just to, so I'll press, so in translate Y, I'm going to type in 0 and hit enter, and I'm going to press S. Okay, so I'm at frame 7. I'll do 5 frames. So 7, so 28 plus 5 is 33. And the reason why I'm doing less frames is that after a while, it takes less time for the ball to travel. So I'm going to press, I'm at frame 33. I'm going to move this a little further up. Press S. And then frame 4, 4 frames after, sorry. So at frame 37, type in 0, press S. So we'll play it. This isn't the right. All right. Stop. Stop. There we go. I'm just going to move these a little further down. So to do that, I hold down the shift key. I press with my left mouse button. I drag with my left mouse button, and then I'm going to let go of the shift key and my mouse button, and then I'm just going to drag it over with my left mouse button. It's just, it needed a few more frames. And that one. Okay. So 34 to 39. All right. So 4 frames after. So 43. Move a little bit more up. Press S. 3 frames. So for frame 46, so I'll type in 0. Press S. 2 frames. So I'm at 46, 48. A little up. Press S. S. And then 0. S. We'll leave it for like that for right now. All right, so we'll press play. All right. So just a couple of things. Stop. If I go to my graph editor, which is under Windows, Animation, graph editor. What this is showing me, if I look at my translate Y, because this is what we've been keying on, this is a representation of the kind of height that we're seeing. So what we can do here is manipulate the graph editor so it represents the motion of the ball. So one thing I notice is that the ball is easing into the ground, which in reality, it doesn't do that. You know, the ball strikes the ground. So what we would need to do, it needs to kind of hit a wall instead of easing in, so the distance isn't getting closer to each other within the frames here. We need to make this a sharper curve, kind of like an arc. Rainbows, if you will. So to do that, I need to do what I need to do to the bottom keyframes. If I highlight them, I'm going to right click, I'm going to break tangents, and now I'm going to highlight the handle, one of the handles, and I'm just going to make the bottom keyframes sharp. So I click on the keyframe that I've broken the tangent. I'm going to click and drag over the handle, and I'm trying to create these parabolic arcs. I'm moving the handles up, if it'll let me. Oh, W to move the handles. It's the same thing in, so make sure the W tool is selected. Okay. And F to zoom in if something isn't, if you can't see it properly. Make sure I've broken these tangents. All right, so I'm going to select this keyframe, select the handle, and I'm also going to just lower this one a little bit. So to do that, I'm going to press W, select the keyframe that I want to move, and then shift and move it down. And just so it's losing more speed in an arc. So it's more right. Move this up a little bit. I might, you know what? I might need to push this. Reset. I think this will. Okay. All right, that's kind of like the look that we want to go for this. All right. So now what we can do, we can look at this and see how it looks now. I'd recommend not pressing play here because it's not a good representation. I'm also going to move my keyframes just to like frame 54-ish. I'm going to right click on the video on the timeline. I'm going to check my play blast. Okay. Save to file. Okay. I'm going to play blast it. And see, this is going to be a more accurate representation. So notice that it's not like looking swimmy, the bounce of the ball. Dun, 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 dun. The last two frames might need a little bit more frames, but that's okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my graph editor, I'm going to go to translate Z. The reason being, if you look at the arrow here, this is going to be my forward motion. I'm going to delete all these keys in the middle, except for the first and last keyframes. Delete. And now I'm going to move this down, because if you notice, if I need to move to the right, this blue arrow is pointing towards the positive Z translation. So if I move this down, so I'll move this. I'm at the last keyframe, so I will determine where this bounce will end, basically. Move this handle of the first keyframe so it's more linear, but then it eases in at the end, so it's not traveling as far. So now we will play blast this new one. Okay, so it's easing in a little too quickly, so we can make that linear. So I'm going to go back to my graph editor, if I can find it, animation, graph, and what I might, I need to bring this further down is what I need to do. That's why. And there we go. Okay. Let's see how this looks now. The problem that I had was my last Z keyframe was ending around frame 48 and not at 52. So it wasn't aligned with the last bounces. So, right click on, also, I'm going to hide my NURBS curves just for visual appeal. Just going to right click on this. I'm going to play blast again. Oh, shoot. Let me close that out. Let me quit QuickTime. For my Mac, for some reason, I have to quit it if it's rewriting a previous file. So play blast. There we go. So I'm going to play it again. So it's looking a lot better. So that's the basic of a bouncing ball. I could keep tweaking this a lot, but this is just a starting basics for animation. All right. I'll post another video on how to start the walk cycle, and then we'll get to it. All right. Take care. Bye.